Hi Becky, here's problem 7. On problem 7, you needed to, pardon me, you needed to factor the numerator, 10p plus 5, by pulling out a 5, and that gives you 2p plus 1. And then when I factor the numerator, I can pull out a GCF of 9, and I'm left with 2p plus 1. Then, because this is divided, dividing is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. So I factored 3p minus 9 by pulling out a 3, and I put it in the denominator. And then I looked at 27p minus 81, which had a GCF of 27, and I put it in the numerator. Then if I look at common factors, 2p plus 1 is common with 2p plus 1. p minus 3 is common with p minus 3. 3 goes into 27 9 times. 9 cancels out with that 9, so I am left with 5. Now, when you look at excluded values have to do with what were not allowable inputs to begin with. So those are going to stem from looking at what values cause me to divide by 0. So when I look at the excluded values, I'm kind of asking myself, where does 18 plus 9 equal 0? What value causes that to happen? And what value causes 27p minus 81 to be 0? So in factored form, it's 9 times 2p plus 1. And if I set that equal to 0, then I get negative 1/2 as an excluded value. And over here, I get 3 as an excluded value. So that is where the excluded values come from what values of p would cause you to divide by 0. Then on problem 8, it's the exact same kind of problem. We need to factor the numerator and the denominators. This is a multiplication problem, so there is no need to divide by the reciprocal. So the correct factoring, I did this in a couple of steps. When I factor 2x squared minus x plus 12, I can pull out a GCF of 2. When I have 27x plus 45, I can factor out a 9, which leaves me with 3x plus 5. When I have 15x squared plus 4x minus 35, there's no GCF, but I can factor it into the trinomial 5x minus 7 times 3x plus 5. And 10x squared minus 44x plus 42 has a GCF of 2, and I'm left with 5x squared minus 22 plus 21. Okay, for my next step, I went ahead and I factored further the x squared minus 5x plus 6. So that yielded a complete factorization of 2 times x minus 3 over x minus 2. Then I just carried the 9 times 3x plus 5 and the 5x minus 7 times 3x plus 5 from the previous step. And then I was able to factor the 5x squared minus 22x plus 21 part, and I was able to factor that into 5x minus 7 times x minus 3. So then I cancel out my common factors. So I have 3x plus 5 is a common factor, 5x minus 7 is a common factor, x minus 3 is a common factor, and so what I'm left with is 2 times x minus 2 in the numerator all over 9. Now, when you look at excluded values, again, you have to ask yourself, what caused me to divide by 0 from the beginning? So I needed to know, well, if I had 27x plus 45, which factors into 9 times 3x plus 5. And if I had 10x squared minus 44x plus 42, which factors into 2 times 5x minus 7 times x plus 3, then the values that are going to cause that to be equal to 0 are going to be a negative 5/3. Okay. And then on this side, you're going to get 7/5, and you're going to get a positive 3. Hopefully that was helpful. Have a good night.